Hey, party people!
Hello, humans of the world!
Welcome to This Is True.
We're back.
We are back.
We are back.
And we're better than ever.
Of course we are.
How was your weekend?
It was so good. Well, thanks to you. You've invited me to share some beautiful times with your amazing woman power, tribe of strong, beautiful women who are just so sure of who they are. Everyone is so different, but everyone is okay to exist in the same space. And it was so inspiring, especially from our conversation of last week where I was telling you that, I've been feeling some type of way about not connecting more with women. And I want to. I crave it. I crave that. And I pray for it. And I was so happy to have that moment with you guys.
Yay!
It was so amazing. I loved it. We were on the beach. We had some good bites, some great conversation. It was just so refreshing.
That's awesome. I was so thankful that you came and made time because it was a little bit of a trek down to Redondo, but it was really good. It was really good. It was the highlight of my weekend, and so for those of you that are listening in, there was sister circles this weekend. I attended two. And
I don't even know what a sister circle is. So maybe you should explain what this is, because I don't think in New York anyone does this.
So essentially, I have some friends, and what we do is we get together. They'll put out a post or maybe just an invite to us, a few ladies, or make it big, doesn't matter. Mm-hmm. But essentially, it's to come in. Typically, it's around a full moon or a new moon, and we sit together. We set some intentions. We will write out some things that we're letting go of this moon cycle. There's some things that we all want to work on ourselves, so we get into groups and we really put that energy to good use and set the intention.
Yeah, with the moon too, I'm all about the moon.
Yes.
The moon and us, the moon is a woman, I believe, and it has a vagina, just like the rest of us. So I was all about it.
You're all about it.
All about it.
It was definitely a weekend of feminine energy at its finest. So, and I would say, I think one of the highlights, and Melissa, I was so happy that you joined and you got to meet some of my favorite women. I absolutely adore them. And they adore you, by the way.
Oh, I'm glad it worked out.
Yes.
Are they going to like me? Or
yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
I felt a good vibe. So.
Yes. Yeah. Everybody's grown and a good energy. So when you left, there was definitely like, oh, I like her, and we'll be listening to your podcast. And it was good. So thank you for just attending and just being yourself. It was great.
Thanks for having me. It was awesome.
Yes. And one of the things that I really enjoyed and wanted to share with everyone is during these sister circles, you're able to, you can do whatever you want, essentially. I have a girlfriend, shout out to Kelly Bradwell. She has started her own sister circle, and what we do is create something. And what that is a body scrub. And it's amazing.
Can't wait to use it.
So everyone goes around and, you put your intentions, you say them out loud as you rub and knead your hands into all the scrub and all the ingredients in there. And it is very powerful. The only reason I say that is because I had done this on New Year's, at the beginning of the year, and was reminded of some of the things that I had poured into the scrub, and now 7 months later to look at things that have manifested. Yes.
It's like a law of attraction type situation.
It absolutely is. And so this weekend I was able to acknowledge those things, and then put in some more intentions, more things that I want to manifest, and we'll see what the rest of this year brings. So I am a big believer of it. If there's anybody that's interested, you can always email us at thististru@gmail.com, and we can give you some ideas to actually start your own sister circle if you're interested. But it's a powerful movement. I enjoy it very much.
I can't wait to start my own, maybe.
Yes.
Possibly.
Yes.
I'm meeting a lot of dope women lately. I know God is answering a lot of my prayers and sending me dope women, and so I'm excited to take some pointers from you and Kelly and expand and see what happens.
Why not?
Yeah.
Yay. So, with that being said.
Yes.
Talking about manifesting, being present.
Last week was so much fun. I want to thank everyone who listened, who watched. We were so excited about the great feedback we got. A lot of constructive feedback as well about things that we should be doing better and things that we were doing really good at. So it was so good to just, be in it and know that we're exactly where we should be and doing exactly what we should be doing.
Yes. And a big shout out to those who actually commented and engaged on social media. I just wanted to go through the list really quickly because that's what we'd like to use social media for, is to engage with people, continue the conversation, or start a conversation that is something that you guys are interested in instead of just full of likes. So really quickly, just want to give shout outs to Jayla, the Self-Esteem Queen, Brisk Walk Ladies, Sunnybird Botanicals, St. Patty Spices, Troy Thomas, B Priest 30, Miss Magnolia 1969, Miss LaFay, The Real Michael Henderson, J. Rod R8, Solani, RJ, Mend History 24. You guys rock, and thank you for commenting and just engaging with us.
It was dope. I really liked it. And, as last week we discussed the act of being present, right? Mm-hmm. What does it mean when we're present? Now we will be discussing what happens when you are in the space of self. After you're in this present moment and you're in silence, or you're in gratitude, or you've decided to stop and shut it all down, what do you do next? Well, I don't know about you, Adrian, but I know when I'm in silence and in present moments, a lot of things start to come up. A lot of questions, a lot of self, reflection is a good word. So I want to start off by asking, what are those questions you ask yourself when you're in those moments, right? A lot of them that come up is, who am I? What do I like? What makes me happy? Am I happy? What do I want? Well, when you start,
you want.
Right? We're still trying to figure that out, right? And every day can be different, and it changes, and who knows, right? But when you start coming up with these things and these ideas, the next step is very, very vital, right? Because now we're faced with making the damn decision. Really listening to yourself, your inner self, coming up with these questions, and then deciding to make actions.
Yep.
Right? Deciding to make actions. That's huge. Huge, 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 huge. So, talk to me. Tell me. What happens how do we make the damn decision? Ask yourself that question. What happens when you make the damn decision?
I have to, it's a process, and I have to think about this. But as far as making the decision, when I'm faced with something that is difficult or challenging, I definitely take some time to go to either my favorite place, which is the beach, or just take some time to be with self, just meditate. And like you said, when you're present, you kind of just slow everything down. You're in a place of allowing, so you're going to allow messages to come through to you. Mm-hmm. Maybe you have visions, or maybe you're just having a moment where you need to dream a little bit. It's either or. You're going to sit down and say, okay, I'm just going to dream a little bit. Same thing, essentially, right? Mm-hmm. So when you have these ideas that come to you, whatever that is, whether it is, I need to write a book, whether it is, I need to move out of the country, or you need to, quit your job and start that company that you've been thinking about.
Oh,
those are things. Yeah, these are things that are life changing. They're big decisions. But I would always say, just sit down with yourself for a moment. That's what I do. And then when that comes through, it really is time to, if you're gonna do it, then do it.
Do it.
And attach your feeling to it. If it excites you,
right, then
that's when you know what, this is what I need to do. If it's one of those things that doesn't excite you, or you just feel kind of nothing, or numb to it, or just a little bit, what gets you. You know the feeling of excitement.
We all know.
Right. So when you have a thought or a dream that excites you, that feeling, that's your decision. You just need to make sure that you go with it. But that's your deciding factor.
And let's start off with, what is decision? What does decision really mean? We're going to go to good old Webster, who apparently knows it all. Decision. According to Webster, it's a conclusion or a resolution reached after consideration, or is the action or process of deciding something or of resolving a question, a formal judgment. Isn't that interesting? So I know that you posted a question to everyone on Instagram after our podcast last week. Yes. You asked, what we want to know is, what desires are you indecisive about?
Yes.
And you listed some desires here: writing a book, starting your own company, moving out of the country, a lot of the ones you just mentioned, quitting your job. So, we got not too much feedback about this, but we just want to kind of plant that seed into everyone's thought process and to their everyday thought process, right? What are those things that really tickle us inside and that we think about? And it's usually that thing that you think about and makes you so scared when you think about it. That's usually it. That's usually the it factor. It's like if you get butterflies, if you think about it and you get butterflies or nervous or anxious, that's probably the thing you have to walk towards.
Well, there's two different things. Two different aspects, I should say. So you have your feeling about anything that you're thinking about, right? Mm-hmm. And then you typically, where people get scared, is the how part. Mm. So I'm so excited about, moving out of the country and starting a new life, which I'll tell you my story in a little bit. But mm-hmm. It's so exciting. But when you sit down to think, how do I do that? Like, how do I leave everything that I know, my job, my complete comfort way of zone. Living? Exactly. How do I do that? That's pretty much where people shut their dream down. Mm. They're excited. They've got desires. That something tickles their fancy. Mm. And then they start thinking about the how, and it's like it's shut down, and they just stay in their comfort zone, and that's not the quality of life.
At all.
No.
And and I get it, right? Like, it happens to us all. It's scary, and the how can be very overwhelming, especially when you have, like, life already going on, right? You already have the bills going on. Your savings is not where it should be.
Bills are on auto pay.
Right. Bills are on auto pay.
Right. Even if you're just making it by, like, everything is kind of set.
So you're set in this life that you created or was created for you, right? Because then we're going to talk a little bit about that, which ones are created for you and which ones are intuitively inclined within you. But you're in this life. And so how do you literally get yourself outside? It's like picking yourself up out of one life and then putting yourself in another one that you know nothing about. It's out of your comfort zone. You have no idea how it's going to turn out, what's about to happen. It's a risk. Huge risk.
It is.
And it's scary. It's pee-pants scary. But it's also exciting.
It's also something that you had mentioned last time. It's about letting go of control. Mm. So you had talked a lot about in our last conversation about people being control freaks and they want to control everything. Mm-hmm. So when you start going after your dreams and if you're basing it just on your feelings, there's a level of control that you have to let go. There's a sense of complete and utter belief that what is meant for you will come to fruition, and you literally have to go out on faith. Or just belief in yourself that you got this. One way or another, the universe is going to present the opportunities for you to move into the direction of your dreams, period. But you have to be obsessed with it and understand and attach that feeling to it, that feeling of excitement, that feeling of, just happiness, not contentment, but just...
And just really expanding of yourself.
Yeah.
At least to me, it was just like, it's either I stick with this that I know and be who I am right now forever. Mm. Or I take a leap to, like, see what I'm really made out of. Like, I know this cannot be it. You know what I mean? Like, I'm cool, but I know I could be cooler. I know I could be smarter. I know I could be more knowledgeable. I know that there's more for me to experience, to learn, to love, to be. I just have that drive to want to be more of myself.
Right. And that's big. And not everybody has, I guess, what we have defined as drive or ambition, but I believe everybody wants a little bit more, and I think everybody innately in their core knows that, this life is worth more than just the white picket fence in the house and the 2.5 kids and the 2 cars in the garage. Like, that
can't be it.
Because too many of us attain some of those things or those achievements and then are unsatisfied. So this is about making a decision to do a little bit more with your life. That whatever your calling is, like, just do it.
Right.
Like Nike said, right?
Right. And it's not even the drive, but even the curiosity.
Yes.
Right? Like, just the curiosity, like, if I do this and this, and it's who knows what it would be, but if it doesn't work out, and this is the way I thought about it, because it's not like I had the drive, like, and I thought I was, like, great at that time when I made my decision, which I'll tell you guys about in a minute. But it was the idea of, well, you know what? This life I already know. If it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to my old life. Mm. Like, my old life is not going anywhere. Mm. I could just always go back. And just that idea of, like, I could always go back. I'm just going to dive into the unknown, and just because I'm curious and I'm just like, oh, I want to see. Or, you know, I want to experience. I want to know. Yeah. That alone is a driving force, right? The curiosity.
Absolutely. I wish all of us had it.
I think we all do innately. I think it's within us. It's within our spirits, within our energy. I think no one is meant to be content. I think this life is continuously moving, continuously forcing us to change, to evolve, to do different things, because it's not meant for us to stay still. No, that's not what anyone's purpose is. So I think it's within all of us just tapping into that, and then making the damn decision.
Making the damn decision.
So, do you want to go into your story first?
Well, I realized, when we were talking about this topic, I realized that there's two ways that kind of life shakes you up. Mm. And either, like you said, you tap into it, into yourself, and you're like, okay, or God, this is something that excites me, so you go after it, you make the change. Mm-hmm. You take action. Mm-hmm. Or you maybe have a calling, but you just keep ignoring it because life is content or whatever. And you're like, yeah, I'm just going through the motions. I don't know what I want to do. And life has a funny way of shaking you up.
Pushing you. Like, all the way pushing you.
All the way. So I prefer to be on the first side of the stick and making decisions and making actions and movement for my life. And I would say the one experience that I have in that realm, well, I've moved a lot just on my own, by myself, just because because I'm my mother's daughter. Let me be very clear. She's a gypsy, so I have a little bit of that
in me. Your blood.
It's in your DNA. It sure is. And I think the biggest move for me was when I was planning. I called it my quarter life crisis. I was about 26, and had a really good job working in sales, making really good money. Probably more than both of my parents combined in a year, and was just kind of living the life in Los Angeles, but I was feeling really stagnant, and it was suffocating. So I was looking and booking a trip to go back to Spain to visit for a vacation. A friend had mentioned to look at this one website. That one website led me to another. Before you know it, I am enrolled in a program to go to Spain to stay with a family for 3 months in Madrid, and to go experience they were to introduce me to the culture. So the deciding factor for me on that point, which meant that I was going to quit my job, I was going to sell everything that I own, and ship myself over to Spain. And I surely wasn't just going to ship myself over for just 3 months. Like, I was going to stretch this out. However, the spontaneous creature that I am, I found this program in February, and I was on my way to Spain April 7th, and that was it. It was a wrap. I bought a one-way ticket, sold my car, quit my job. I did everything. The only thing that I had left was my grandmother's chest that had some personal things in there that I asked a friend to hold in his storage, and I shipped myself off. And I say to this day, it's one of the best things I ever did for myself. I didn't know anybody over there in another country in a language that I did not speak. Ooh. It was, and I just remembered there was at one point I was doing the background check for this program, and so excited about this whole process, and oh great, this is great. I'm going to go stay with these people, and they're going to introduce me to the culture, and there's so much history over there, so much more than what we have. And, I'll figure it out. I'll just figure it out when I get over there. And I truly believed I would. And within that first 3 months, it did. I met somebody who said, hey, you don't have to worry about, a visa or being legit like you do in the States, well, especially today. But, just go over, get certified as an English teacher. You're native to the U.S., so go get certified, take a month-long course. They set you up with academies who then set you up with jobs. Like, that's it. A wrap. And that's what allowed me to stay in Spain for a year. And I met people that I'm still friends with today. I could go back and stay with them. I was able to travel to places because I was there over in Europe that I would never be able to see just from the States. So, or just from coming from the States.
Right.
It was one of the best experiences I've ever done. I would highly suggest anybody doing that. But probably planning it out a little bit more than I did. However, at the same time, I didn't have a full plan. So you just have to understand, like, having faith in yourself and not knowing the how of every move, man, it doesn't matter. You're protected. You're good. As long as you keep those positive thoughts going, you're set.
Opportunities come.
It does.
As long as you have your door open, they come.
And you just keep thinking positive, and you just keep riding that feeling, like attaching those good feelings to whatever it is you're thinking. You're set. And I realized that while I was over there. Now, granted, it wasn't all rosy. Let me be really clear.
Yeah.
It definitely had moments of being, homesick. But I was, when I also realized that I was placed with people that were from the States that I could call up at any given time, and I did. And, there's moments, and we have technology these days, so I was very fortunate and grateful. And so I found my way back to the States, but that was a big leap. I think a lot of people thought I was braver than what I thought I was at the time.
Right, because other people are looking at it from the outside, so they could either take it as you're crazy, which is my story, or they could see it as an admirable thing.
Right.
So that leads us to mine. I moved across the country to California. I'm from New York. I remember I initially came to California for the first time for work, January 2016 to be exact. No, sorry, January 2012 to be exact. And I just was coming for some work meetings. I was dealing with some clients, in San Francisco, and I brought my cousin with me just along the ride, just to have someone to roam around with. And when I booked the flight to come for work, my life was great. I had an amazing job. I had been in for 4 years at the time. I had just gotten a promotion. Okay. I was dealing with clients that were, I had just gotten the Google account, which is a huge multi-million-dollar account. And so things were pretty. I had an amazing Harlem apartment that's really hard to find in Harlem, USA. I had a boyfriend that I was in love with, and, I thought it was, going well. So, it was picture perfect.
Okay.
Until it wasn't. So, second day being in California of meetings, I am at dinner with my cousin, and I just look at her, and I'm just like, Denise, I'm moving here. And she's like, huh? What, are you drunk? I'm like, nope, this is drink number 1. I'm in a sober mind. I am moving here. Yeah. Something is telling me I need to be here. And so I went back, and I was just, of course, as soon as you make the damn decision, for some reason life is like, okay, now we're going to orchestrate all these things to push you.
Yep.
And so, everything in me was just like, you need to start planning. So I remember I started training my coordinator, who was reporting to me at the time, to take over my position. I started to think about, okay, how am I going to move? How much do I have in my savings? I had a good amount of savings. Thankfully, I've been responsible for a really long time. I felt like I was preparing for this for longer than I understood it mentally. So subconsciously, I've been preparing. So I had a good amount of savings. I said, okay, I'm gonna make this happen in this way. And literally, I went there January. I made the move June 26th. 2012. That was 6 months later.
Yeah.
I went back in March and started searching apartments. I spent 4 days in San Francisco, in Oakland specifically, searching for apartments. I put a down payment. I put 3 months down. I was like, here's 3 months. Hold this apartment. I'll be back in June. Went back, packed all my stuff, and I moved across the country. I quit my job.
Yeah.
I left my beautiful apartment. I left family, friends. I knew one person in San Francisco when I moved.
Yeah.
I knew no one. And a lot of things conspired. I think that one thing that made clear to me that making the decision was difficult, but sticking with the decision was even more difficult.
Absolutely.
So it's this idea of, like, you don't make a decision once and then it goes away. You make a decision and then you have to stick to it. And that's where it becomes a battle, I think, within yourself, because you're in the middle of it. And I knew mentally, like, okay, well, if I hate it here and it's horrible, I'll just go back to New York, right? I mean,
you've got your option
B. I have my option B. I have my backup, you know, just in case if things go left, I just go back home. But everything went left, yet I still stuck with it. It took me, gosh, maybe 8 months before I found a job. Then a year later, my brother passes away, so I had to, like, go back to New York for that. So all these things was conspiring against me being there, yet I felt like this is where I had to be. And I had to get through it to understand why. And I don't know, it was so difficult, yet needed and required for me to be who I am now, to grow, to challenge myself, to push myself, to be aware of what my power really was. And unlike you, people looked at me like, you're insane, Melissa. You're losing it. What do you mean you're moving across the country? What do you mean you're leaving your job? Like, you're apart. Like, what is wrong with you? My boyfriend at the time was like, yeah, you're going through a phase. It's fine. You'll be back. He didn't believe that I was really sticking through this. So I had hardly any support in this. I had everything in my ear telling me, come back home, don't do this. And something within me was way louder and saying, you have to do this. And you're staying here, you're going to go through it, even if you have to wake up confused every day, even if you have to cry every day, even if you have to eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. Like, I was back in college, I definitely did peanut butter and jelly sandwiches when I was broke. I was, doing contracting work and temping in random agencies until things evolved. And out of nowhere, things just started falling into place. I got a job. I found an apartment that I really liked. I moved from the other apartment to the new one, and things just started to, it's just the building blocks kind of started coming together. So I think what I want to reiterate is, the outcome. Like, we focus so much on what is it going to be or where we're going to get to, and it's really about the journey.
The journey.
And rolling with it through the bad times and the good times, so making the decision once and then continuing to make the decision.
Yeah.
Because, like Webster says, you make the decision and then you're, done and you walk away. But that's not how it really works.
Not in real life.
Not in real life. Maybe in Webster's world back in, I don't know, BC times, but that's not realistic.
I'll have to, what you just said just reminded me of an Alan Watts little video that somebody just sent me today. So I'll share it with you. We'll share it with the group too. But it's basically, that's basically what it's saying is, hey, we're so focused on the outcome that sometimes, a lot of the times, you forget to really enjoy the process and enjoy the journey.
Right.
You're supposed to, dance and sing while the music is playing. Don't forget.
Right.
So it's really, and everything that we feel inside of the visions that we see or the dreams that we have is to expand our experience here. Right. So it's not going to be anything that's like, oh, you want to go, I don't know, start a new company and then everything's just going to work out. Right. And millions of dollars are going to land in your lap and you're going to be happy and bored. That's not it.
Not at all.
So I really encourage people, whatever their dream is go do it. Stop. Get out of your mind. First of all, get out of your head. And just take one action forward.
Right. Make the damn decision.
Make the damn decision and go.
And I also want to touch on, because our stories are more linked to making the decision because it was innately within us to make them. But then there's the other side, right? Yeah. When life forces you to make these decisions. And it has happened to me several times, I'm sure you as well, where we don't listen to those dreams. We don't listen to that feeling. We don't listen to what's innately within us. And then life is bruh, if you don't do this now, I'm going to make you do this now.
Yeah.
And then when it's that way, it's rough, right? Because nothing is fun when life is forcing you to do it. When your experiences and your environment is pushing you to do it, it becomes more brutal because it's you're trying to go against wind and the wind is pushing you back and you're just I want to just do it my way. And life is no, it's not your way, it's my way. And then it's the battle.
Yeah, you have, I think the other, speaking to that time or this area of making decisions is, when you have, maybe you get some bad news on your health or maybe you have trauma in your life or something happens, like you said, your brother passed. There's sometimes that things happen in life where you're just stripped of all the confidence that you even know. You don't even know which way is up. So trying to make a decision at the time is tough, but eventually you have to. Whenever you get out of that shock, whenever you, you know, you got to give yourself a minute and a beat. But a lot of people just don't know how to turn in to figure out what is the next decision. I think that's what I want to stress is like, turn in, sit down, be quiet for a moment. And there's a lot of pressures, especially if you listen to the news, if you've got the news running all the time, if you've got, and it's one of my biggest things. It's one of the biggest things.
Turn it off.
I don't listen to the news anymore. I haven't for
me neither. I get the alerts on my phone. I'm like, something about Trump. Exit. I don't want to.
I had somebody who was like, you need to listen to the news, and I was like, actually, I don't. I really don't. It just doesn't do anything for me right now. And if so, you know, when you're inundated with a lot of negativity or things that are just taking up your mental space, I say make the damn decision, stop listening to the news, spend a little bit more time with yourself, and just start working on making moves that are better for you and your family, that are going to, you know, make this life a little bit more fulfilled. And I would prefer to do it just on your own and not wait till life has a way of kind of kicking you in the ass.
It's not fun when life does it at
No.
all. And I mean, I'm a Capricorn, so I could be a little stubborn sometimes.
But you?
Yeah, sometimes.
Oh, no.
I mean, not all the time, but sometimes. And and so, you know, because I'm very responsible and I'm always very prepared, you know, I have a hard time just allowing the universe and life and God and everything in me to lead me. And there are times where, you know, I literally now at this point, I get like clear signs. I say, nope, stop. It's not I need you to stop.
Press pause.
Right, pause, shut it down.
Right.
Calm down. This is not about you right now. And so I think it's a challenge for a lot of us. You know, we're very imperfect. We have all these characteristics and nothing in life tells us or teaches us to stop and just be. Everything is like, go get it. Go get that job that you want and go get that degree and figure out what you want and do it. And it's just this whole like do mentality in this society that nothing ever tells you like, wait, stop and search within and see what your heart is talking about and see what your mind is really like directing you to and listen to your dreams. Like no one tells you to listen to your dreams, you know, no one tells you to.
No. I mean, I definitely, my life would be completely different if I had. I would probably be dancing somewhere on, I don't know, a company or, you know, traveling the world. But when I think about that, I mean, as a young person, I was so consumed with, how am I going to support myself? Like, girl, you don't have a safety net. Like, your friends, maybe they do, maybe they don't. You know, maybe their family supports their dreams or whatever, but, like...
You don't got that?
Right, like, I mean, my mom was like, do whatever you want. Like, absolutely, I got you. Like, she's like, yay, go. But at the same time, it wasn't like...
Here's $1 million so you can do it.
Or that, or, you know, there was just more of a self-pressure probably. So to, you know, be able to take care of myself. A lot of pride and independence. A lot. Like, from yay high.
Me too.
Yeah, so it wasn't like, oh, I can go be a starving artist, dancer, and right, and then
trying to do that,
right, and then you got a whole bunch of body issues that you're dealing with as far as the dance industry. Like there was a lot. However, if I would have listened to it in the very beginning, who knows? Like who knows? My life would have been completely different, and that's all right. I mean, I got next lifetime.
Right, we're still going. I mean, it can happen in the next year or two. I mean, who knows? You might make the damn decision soon. Who knows?
I do say that I will have world domination like Beyonce. I don't know if that will happen, but if I made the damn decision to do it, it would.
It would. And it will. It will. This is the beginning right here, the conversation.
Right.
So, you know, we're redefining the truth of what decision is. Now we have an understanding. Like, decisions are not just something you just do when they make the decision and that's it. You have to actually commit to it.
Right, and not just only based on, on paper.
Or that.
You know, it's not just about, oh, how much money can I make? Or this is the field that I can make the most money. Or it's really about what is your calling. What's going to make a difference to you?
Your purpose.
Your purpose. Like, what feels good to you? that's where you go. That's where you make the damn decision and you go after.
Right, and that's like a full-blown separate conversation. Purpose. I mean, purpose is deep, and I think that's what we all have in common, right? Like, every soul has a purpose.
Absolutely.
And everyone is here to do something, bring something to this world, do something magical before they leave.
Mm-hmm.
We're here renting this body, we're renting this mind, we're renting these organs.
It is on lease.
It is on lease, and it's going back. So we have limited time, or not limited time, but rather an expiration date. Mm-hmm. And we have to, in this process and in this journey, do things and take action to fulfill this purpose.
Yes.
This action, this like big to-do. And it's so hard. It's like, what is my purpose? I mean, I know I question this daily, probably hourly. What am I supposed to be doing? Like, what am I going to be doing? I don't
anymore. I used to stress about it a lot. In fact, I remember I would call, like, my friend and be like, oh, I'm just trying to figure out my life. It used to be the sentence that I used to say. Oh, I'm just trying to figure out my life. Like, oh, I just need a counseling moment. I'm just trying to figure out my life. Nah, like.
But it's not the life, it's the purpose, right? Like,
right.
Like that thing inside of you, like, that's
what is it
supposed to bring to the world, to people. So now I kind of don't stress about it in the grand scale. Now it's like, what am I going to do today to be better? What am I going to do today to impact someone? I know that my purpose has to do with bringing something to the world, bringing something to people I interact with, bringing something to my experience. So I try to tap into that on a daily basis rather than, like, the big, like, to-do, you know, like this daunting purpose thing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because it's heavy.
It is.
Real heavy.
It is. Well, this is part of my purpose, so that's why I know.
Here we are. We're
having a conversation.
Right?
Yeah. Conversation that's, redefining certain stereotypes or typical definitions.
Yes, and unconventional things. Where we're done with convention, we're done with society standards, we're done with Webster. I mean, I'm giving him a lot of props right now, but I'm really not. I'm just shouting him out so we could understand that what he wrote is not the word of, like, it's not the word of God or the word of anything. He's just gave us a foundation, and it's up to us to redefine it and to change it and to explore it and to evolve this whole world.
So when we are redefining decisions, maybe it's just the decision process that we're redefining.
Right, it's the process. That it is a process. That is not just a one-step thing. It's not just make it and then, like, drop it and now you're good. It's a constant thing. It keeps going.
Or accepting, like, what other people put on you as far as your decision.
Mm-hmm.
I can't stress enough, just spend some time with yourself.
It's all about you.
Yeah.
Everything is about you. Everything that's happening to you is about you. It's for you. All the people that are coming into your life is to teach you something, for you to learn something, for you to experience something. Like, it's really not about anyone else.
No.
It's all about you.
And your circle is going to benefit from it. I think that's one thing that people really worry about is, like, oh, what is this? If I go off and do my own thing, like, what does this mean for my family? For example, if somebody, quits their job and they want to start a new company, but they have a wife and kids at home, or a husband and kids at home, whatever, they're like, oh my gosh, what does this mean to my household income? What does this mean to our schedule? Something that is set, that is very hard to do when you have just even one child or multiple. Like, you think about all these things, and so I know that these are concerns from people, and at the end, it's one of those things. As long as you know it's part of you and it gets you excited, it's gonna be okay.
Always is.
And so what if you rack up? I don't know.
If you fall, if you fail.
You don't even fail. You never fail.
You never really stumble. Yeah, you're going to stumble. You're going to feel like you failed. You're going to feel like you're on the floor dying. I definitely have.
Yeah.
But
you're going to stub your toe and it's going to hurt.
But you continue to live. You're going to wake up the next day.
Yeah.
If you do, that means that you're supposed to continue.
Right. And nothing is too much of, a setback or a stumble that you can't recover from.
Yeah.
It really isn't.
Nope.
Nothing in this world is forever.
Nope.
Even your good credit score. So that's what I'm just saying. I'm just going to throw it out there. I mean, I know we work so hard, but guess what? Even when it, goes down a little bit, you're still breathing. You can get it back up. It's fine.
I literally just got an email last week And Credit Karma was like, your score went down. I was like, oh, delete. Stop talking about this number. You don't. They were.
And it was nice.
It was nice.
I mean, I spent a lot of time outside of my phone, but I also spent a lot of time on my phone. And so it allowed me to engage with the people that I was in front of. And I thought to myself, okay, I'm going to take a picture of it, and then I'll put my phone, like, away or whatever. And I didn't, because I just got lost in the conversation that I was immediately picked up into. And they were over to the side, so it was great. It was part of the first sister circle.
And what did they say? Like, what was the feedback?
Just great idea. It was just a great idea. I mean, we were intent on being there in the present moment anyways. So it was just like, oh, that's a great idea, and then we just went on with it. But I think it would be different if I was in a restaurant or if it was towards, I did notice in my social events this weekend that we do pick out our phones towards the end of an event. So we're all excited to see each other. It's all new. We got things to share. We're all excited. Things are going on. And then as things start winding down, like, oh, well, somebody's going to call their boo to come pick them up or whatever the case is. But all of a sudden we find ourselves like
back on it,
or somebody's, taking a picture of themselves to post, but we're still in our gathering. So it was something that I observed and was very much more aware of after our conversation.
Yeah.
But I need to take that picture.
Awesome. And I did a little research. Actually, my sister brought it to my attention that there was a game back in 2012 that was called the phone stacking game. So it was kind of like the whole social stack thing. And his name was Little B. I tried to find him on YouTube and Instagram. Couldn't find him. But I wanted to find him because I'm like, I want to find this guy so I can like collab with him so we can like bring this back up.
Hey, Little B.
Yeah, so Little B, if you hear this or if anyone knows who this man is, who started this, his name is Brian Perez. He goes by Little B. And
Did he have an article?
Yeah, there was like several articles about it.
Maybe we can post it. We can post it on Instagram and see if anybody like knows him.
Yeah,
can connect with him.
I want to connect with him because my sister's like, I don't want you to get sued for like taking his ideas. So I don't want to steal ideas. I want to collab, and I want to bring him to to light because he started the whole game thing, and I want to kind of get that moving again.
Yes. Yeah. I thought it was a great idea. Well, I think we should keep the challenge going because we didn't get any pictures from our followers. But I think that we should continue it.
Yes,
this
please.
week. Why not?
Yes, just keep social stacking and your social events. Take pictures, post them. Tell us about your story. We'd love to hear it. So hashtag social stack without the K. And of course, we have a new challenge.
We do. Before we get to the new challenge, I do want to say thank you to some of our listeners that I did see them posting their kind of gratitude lists or just gratitude moment for the weekend. And I mean, they went in. So
oh, nice.
Yeah, I just wanted to make that note. There was Kelly, Almise, oh my gosh, Jess, I think Sarah. There was quite a few people out there that were just posting their gratitude list, and I was like, yes, people, yes. So
awesome.
Thank you. Keep doing it for yourself or publicly if you want to, but I just think it's a great motion.
Yeah. Let's be gratitude.
Yeah. So with that being said, what's our new challenge this week?
Okay. Well, since we have this gratitude list, and we're being silent and shutting things down, I think it's the perfect time to ask ourselves these questions that arise. Kind of figure out what decisions are we gonna make now that we're quiet, now that we're present. Let's make a decision, a damn decision.
Okay.
Let's make one. Just any one. Just pick one. It could be small. It could be big. Whatever it is, just make a decision and take an action towards a decision this week.
So is it a decision that that we've been him-hawing?
Maybe, or maybe another decision. It could be something small. You decided that this week you're gonna, cook more and you're gonna start meal prepping, or whatever the case is. Whatever it is, whatever that thing that comes up when you're silent. Let's, or whatever comes up in your gratitude list.
Let's take action.
Yeah, take an action. Take an action on whatever it is. We would love to know about it, so share it with us, post about it. So, just commit for the week. Now, ahora. Okay? I'm going to give it to you in all languages. Adesso, it's Italian. Agora, it's Portuguese.
Shoot, like, what you need. What
like,
you want.
now.
Do it.
Yes.
And we'll post ours.
Yes, we'll post ours. I'll make a decision this week. I don't know what I'm going to make, but I'll make one.
I don't know what it is, but
I'm sure I have a list, right? I'm sure
it'll
we'll
come
have
to
a
me
list.
for sure. So, I love it.
Yeah.
Well, for that, we say thank you for joining us.
Yes.
Thank you for another episode of Thistru.
Where can you find us? How do you contact us?
At Thistru. You can find this at Thistru SoundCloud, at YouTube, Instagram, and you can always email us at thistru@gmail.com.
And make sure you hashtag and be present and make decisions. I can't wait to see you guys next week.
Ciao.
Bye, leaders.